So a lot of top rollers will have fallen into this issue. You go to top roll, you get to here, and you can't finish. So eventually you'll reach the point where you can't back pressure anymore. You're at the end of the pad. So from there you have to look at your options. So one of the best options from here is to press. If you're too far away from your shoulder like this, you will really struggle. So that's why in general when top rolling, it's nice if possible to be able to keep your shoulder involved more like this, because then you have the option, because you're already close, you can apply more side pressure, so you can maintain that side pressure as you come up to press. There's a few different types of top roll finishing presses. So the most goated one is if, say like your classic top roller, you end up taking the hand and then you can bring your shoulder up while still being pronated and do a pronated press. The highest profile example of this has to be Devon when he was versing Hermes. So you see here, Hermes has a good hold. So Devon puts his shoulder in, stays pronated, Hermes doesn't get his cut back, and Devon's able to press him to the pad. Michael Todd is another example that also comes to mind. He will very typically keep pronated because his pronation is his win condition. And it's why he's able to transition back out to top roll if his press fails, because he's staying in a pronated position. So the option to swing back out onto top roll is still there as well. But yeah, he was able to get down Devon a couple of times in their well match with this pronated press technique. Versus West 18 pay-per-view link is in the description below. Oftentimes you don't even have to get your shoulder fully behind. You can just kind of like get up to a point. It's just like inching the shoulder forwards a little bit to get more shoulder involvement, and then that's enough to get the side pressure. And if you feel like this is in containment, because like obviously rotating a little bit like that could look to someone that's new more like an arm break position, but as long as you feel like you're connected through the hand and you've got that kind of shoulder stability, you can pronated press. And that is the best, most guaranteed way to get a press, because you've still got all your hand control. You're not giving up anything to do that, but that's not always possible. Oftentimes what happens, as I go to come up, inevitably my back pressure lets off and my opponent will cut me in like that. And then by the time I'm back around it, he's too cupped in and I often get ripped over this side. So in that kind of situation, as you come up, you want to cup and supinate. So you're basically aiming to push this wrist here up and around. So I'll do it again. So I'm down here, so maybe come in for a close-up if that helps. So I'm down here. As I come up, I'm pushing my wrist forwards and supinating around. Because then, if you get your opponent really supinated like that, really coiled in, then a press is super easy, because even though they've got potentially their cup in, you're kind of, again, you're pushing that wrist forwards, kind of past your opponent's outer wrist bone. It puts them in a really awkward spot to be able to stop that. The power in a press comes from its kind of skeletal efficiency. So if you get your arm, you move it up as tight as you can your body. My arm doesn't go any tighter than that, right? So you're basically utilizing that inflexibility. So if I bring my arm up as close as I can, and I put my shoulder kind of behind it, if he pushes this way, he's hitting into that inflexibility. So I can be fairly efficient there. I don't have to actually apply too much force. That's why generally shoulder committed positions, or like frame, when you're on your frame, will win out against someone who's on back pressure. So that's another advantage of frame-based pulling. So yeah, basically a press is just leaning on that inflexibility. You don't actively have to tricep press. It's not that. Bruh. You just kind of use that inflexibility and lean on it to generate your power. That's the best way to do it. So yeah, once more, the best way to press from a top roll, ideally, because you're not going to give up any hand control at all, is to stay pronated and press like that. Pronated press. If you feel them getting their cup in, at least punch your wrist forwards and supinate real hard, and then you can press. You're trying to crank up and around their hand as you come forwards for an efficient supinated press. You're not necessarily like supinating like this, but you are kind of slightly supinating and cupping really, really deep, because that's going to be very hard to hold someone up when your arm is cranked over like that. That's it, guys. Never stop learning arm wrestling.
Like and subscribe to learn arm wrestling together.